Hey everyone, it's Joy here, and I'm back with another video sharing Papertrey Inc.'s new release. They asked me to be a guest designer this month and sent me a bunch of stuff, and I'm super excited to share that with you. So here is this super cute baseball tee die. It comes with a pocket, you have a hanger, you have the shirt, you have two parts to the shirt. So I'm not going to use the pocket or the hanger. I'm using two parts of the shirt, which I've already die cut 3 of those from white cardstock. Then the arms colors are a teal, a gray, and a brown. So I'm going to put these shirts in my MISTI, and we're going to do some stamping with the super cute new Special Guy stamp from Papertrey Inc. So I'm going to start with this guitar. I'm using Catherine Pooler's new terracotta ink, ginger and winter green for this design, along with some black ink. This first card is going to be a Father's Day card. I will be switching up the arm colors. I just was putting it in place so I could kind of get an idea of what color stamps I want to use, or what color inks I want to use. So I stamped that guitar, and as you can see, it has an open spot, so you can put in a sentiment, and it's going to say "You rock." So that first color, I believe, was the terracotta. Then this is the winter green, and then the next color for the sentiment will be the ginger. I'm going to stamp that a couple times to get a good image, a good crisp image. I think these are super cute. These are great Father's Day cards, guy birthday cards, guy congratulation cards, however it needs to be. I just think this die and these stamps are just amazing. Okay, so I'm going to come in and stamp again with that ginger ink. And I love the way this sentiment is. It has just kind of open areas that don't get completely stamped. So I didn't mess up, you guys. That's how the stamp is. But look at that color combination. Isn't that so much fun? I actually ended up using the gray sleeves for this background. That looks so much better. Okay, so now we're going to do the stamping at the bottom. It's going to say Happy Father's Day, and I'm stamping that in black ink right at the bottom. Couldn't decide if I wanted the top or the bottom, but I think the bottom looks good. And it's kind of, I was really trying hard to make sure it was straight. Lately, I feel like I can't get any sentiment straight at all. I don't know what my deal is. And actually, one of these sentiments I did stamp a little bit crooked, but it's a handmade card. What are you going to do? I'm going to give it to a family member, so it's totally fine. Okay, this next card says Best Guy Ever. Again, that's from the Special Guy stamp set. That's part of the new release. I am using Tide Pool, Tropic, and oh gosh, I can't remember. I think those are the only, I will have it listed and linked below for you guys. But I used those 3 colors. Simon Says Stamp Positively ink, and I just did the lighter, the medium, and then the darker color to give it that gradient look, and then stamped the Happy Birthday in black ink at the bottom. Okay, for this last one, we're going to do a cute mountain. The sentiment says For a Great Man, and then it's going to say Happy Father's Day. The Happy Father's Day, I did a little bit crooked on this one, but it totally worked out fine. So for the mountain, I'm using Latte and Cappuccino. Again, I'm going to stamp the lightest color, and then halfway down I will stamp the darker color, and that's going to give a fun little gradient look to this image. Super, super cute. Now I'm going to come back in with that lighter color and just kind of stamp over the whole thing so I get a really good blend. I'm going to clean off that stamp and then line up the sentiment that says For a Great Man. And I will come in and use Cantaloupe, Melon, and Sherbet. So beautiful, fun orange colors. And again, doing that same kind of ombre or gradient colored look for that sentiment as well. If you wanted each line of that sentiment to be a different color, just use some low-tack tape and just mask off the words you don't want to ink up. Ink it up with ink and then remove the mask, and then you will get those kind of colors. But I just really liked the gradient, so that's the look I was going for. Then I'm going to stamp the Happy Father's Day with the Latte ink, a nice little light brown underneath the bottom. But look at how fun that is. I don't know. I really love the fonts that they use on their products. So I'm going to use my MISTI, obviously, again, to line that up, which really didn't do me any good because it was a little bit crooked. And I'm like, oh no, which you could totally redo this card, but like I said, I'm giving it to a family member, and it's a handmade card, so it's totally fine. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue and adhere the decorative part of the arms and the collars onto the shirts, and I love how all of these colors have just totally popped and it is so much fun. So we got two Father's Day cards out of this and a birthday card out of this. Then we need to do some backgrounds. So the first background I'm going to be using is the corrugated metal background. This is new from their release. So the stamps are a little bit smaller than an A2 size, but it was no big deal. I just kind of lined it up and moved it. I'm using the Misty Coast and Rocky Slope from Pink Fresh Studios. That's their inks I'm using. I'm using the darker color first, and then I will come in with the lighter color. But I'm going to clean this off and move this up. I'm letting the edge kind of overlap the other edge to get a full coverage on this background piece. I will trim this down just a little bit, but I still needed to add that extra piece. Now I'm going to come in with that second part of that stamp, and it's going to fill in a little bit more, and I will use a lighter color of gray. I think that's the Misty Coast. I think the first one was Rocky Slope. Lining that up and then stamping this one more time. Now I'm going to be doing two other backgrounds. I will be using the weathered wood and the rustic brick. Those are not new to this release. Those were previously released. So we're going to have three different color or three different like guy backgrounds for these cards, which is really, really perfect. Okay, so I'm going to finish that, inking that last bit up. And isn't that super cute? I don't know, what interesting backgrounds. Okay, so here is the rustic brick background, and it actually has two stamps to it, but I only used the one because I'll do a little bit of ink blending on top of that. I will be stamping this with the Catherine Pooler terracotta ink, but like the distress ink in, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. One of the red distress inks, and the name just totally escaped my mind right now, but that would be really beautiful too. So I stamped that. Again, it's smaller than an A2 size. I'm just going to line up that brick just a little bit, and then I'm going to stamp that one more time. Now it is quite a contrast between the white cardstock and the terracotta color, so I will come in with a blender brush and just kind of blend around the edges. Then the final background is the weathered wood background. I'm going to stamp that in cappuccino ink and then ink blend a little bit of the latte on top of that. So again, stamping that up and having to move it over. I'm not worried about that top part because I am going to trim this down a little bit, and I didn't want to line it up and have a weird line at the top, so I just lined it up on the side. And I love this wood background. Okay, so let's do a little bit of that ink blending. Again, coming in with the terracotta ink that we already stamped on the background of this. But isn't that a fun brick background? I just love that. I'm going to clean my stencil mat. This is my waffle flower mini stencil mat, and it is fantastic for ink blending. It is fantastic for stenciling. It's just fantastic all around. Here's the latte ink, and I'm actually going to ink over the whole card just to get rid of that stark white and give it a nice light brown color. I have all of my card panels adhered to a white A2 size card base, and then I'm going to pop these shirts up with foam tape and just center them on the card. Now I do want to say, if you guys like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, comment, share, and like. I really appreciate that. You guys are so awesome. I appreciate all of your support, and definitely comment, because I really do try to comment back on everyone's thing. And if I ever miss it, I just want to apologize now. But thank you guys for your support. And I will be back with another video sharing more of Papertrey Ink's new release. Thanks again, you guys. Bye.